Okay, so you saw my review about The Rise of Skywalker. Wholeheartedly, if we're reviewing the all 9 films, I think it does a great job at tying the ribbon and tying the knot for the last 3 films. The Last Jedi is out the window in this movie. No one really cares about it. It doesn't really make any sense, and he doesn't really have any callbacks to it whatsoever because it's like it doesn't exist. Everything that The Last Jedi set up or said, this completely just retcons everything. And I'm cool with that because I really didn't like The Last Jedi. It was not for me. And I know it was not for a lot of you either. You may like Episode 9, you may not like Episode 9. Now, here are the things that, while I feel like the movie did a great job at fixing 8, it could have done better if 8 never existed. So with what 8 left, this was great with what we got. However, that being said, it raises a lot of plot holes for the previous Star Wars films. The main one that I'm going to talk about in this video is, spoiler, the Force healing thing. Now, at the end of the movie, we see Rey die, and which I also kind of wonder if she was actually dead, or if she was just dwindling out in the Force because she didn't become a Force ghost. And I'm wondering, was she not taught, or did she not know how, or was she just just had a sliver of light or sliver of life left in her, or what was the deal with that? Were the Force ghosts just keeping her alive a little bit longer till Kylo got there? I'm not really sure. Now, what this kind of ruins for the prequels and the originals is, okay, let's go back to Episode 1. If the Force healing thing can now revive people, and if it can heal lightsaber wounds like we saw Rey give to Kylo, which was just in his abdomen, what the heck? A lot of people are saying, okay, well then Qui-Gon can be alive. No, he can't, because Qui-Gon was training a Padawan. He was not training a Jedi Knight or a Jedi Master. Obi-Wan didn't know yet the power to heal. He didn't have that ability. So there's the problem with that. So that's debunked, okay. But yes, it does also mean that if another Jedi Master had gone with Qui-Gon, who knew the power of Force heal, or could do it to that extent, then yes, they could have healed him and Qui-Gon would have still been alive. Anakin would never have turned to the dark side because he would have had Anakin as his master. Anakin surely could have used Force heal to heal Padme. However, if he never turned to the dark side, he would have been able to use Force heal because it is for a Jedi only. It is a light side power only. If he had turned to the dark side, which he did, he would not have access to that power. He could use Force drain, which drains the life essence of someone, but he couldn't heal. He couldn't give life because the Sith think inwards, and that's just not a power that exists for the Sith. So that goes out the window. He couldn't revive Padme. And if he stayed in the light to revive her, she would have never died in the first place, because the only reason she died was because she lost the will to live. And of course, because she hit her head pretty hard, and that's possible for concussion or this and that. But I digress. Really, she lost the will to live. She just got sad, which happens in life. It happened with Carrie Fisher's mother when Carrie passed away, and it's a real thing. Now, going forwards, what else does the healing thing ruin for the prequels or the originals? Well, the fact that now if you have a Force user that's strong enough that can heal, well, pretty much anything can be fixed at this point. Vader could have been healed by Luke. Luke was surely powerful enough in the Force in Return of the Jedi. He could have healed Vader. However, Vader didn't want to live anymore. The only reason that he allowed Luke to take off his mask and wanted him to take off his mask and helmet is because he wanted to see him with his own eyes. And when he did that, he allowed himself to die because he let go of the hate within him. And that's what brought Anakin Skywalker back. So he didn't care to be revived. He didn't care to be healed. He could have kept on to it by keeping the mask on. Luke could have gotten him to a medical facility and he could have been okay. But at the end, that's the story we got, and it was a beautiful story, and I think it was absolutely amazing. Now, my next video is going to go over if Episode 9 undermines Anakin's arc. That was the biggest thing I was worried about. I was going into that movie just being like, if it does anything as so much insinuates that I will be extremely, extremely pissed off. We're going to go into that in another video. But in this one, I wanted to address the Force healing thing. It does create inconsistencies, it does create plot holes for the prequels. However, in those specific scenarios with Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon, I don't think Obi-Wan was powerful enough, and I don't think he knew how to heal his master at that level. And also, where Qui-Gon was stabbed was much more of a fatal position than Kylo Ren. It was similar, it was a jab, but, you know, so it is. Now, why did, this also raises the question before I go, why did Darth Maul survive being cut in half and Qui-Gon dies from a little poke? Well, because the Sith allow themselves to stay alive when they are holding on to that hatred. It's the hatred that keeps them alive. It eats away at them, like Maul went crazy in the end, but it keeps them alive. It's that anger that they hold on to. And this is why Sith can never become Force ghosts. There are a few of them in Legends, but they're only attached to certain objects, and they can't really leave those objects. So like they possess these objects. But the Force ghosts go on, and they can pretty much do anything and become more powerful than when they were alive. We see this with Luke, Yoda, everything. Even in The Rise of Skywalker, he grabbed the lightsaber, right? I mean, it's like he's like alive. It's really, what's the difference to being dead at this point? Kind of ruins Force ghosts a little bit, but you know what? Okay. Because Luke died in The Last Jedi and now he's back, I'm going to give it to him because I really didn't want him to die. So that's what I think about Force healing. In this movie, I think, you know, where did she learn it? She's been studying the Jedi texts, and these are the old ancient texts that the Jedi have written from the very beginning, or so we're told. So obviously she's learned a lot of things in there. The next video will cover a lot of other things that the film threw off for me for, you know, the prequels and originals. But overall, as I said before, I enjoyed the movie. I thought it was fine. I thought for sure there are some parts that could be done better. But look, for what we got with Episode 8, where the position this put us in, this is the best scenario. If Episode 8 didn't exist and this is what we got, sure, I'd be upset. But this is what we got with what we were given and where we were left off with Episode 8. And I think it was fine. I think it was great. I was happy. It was very emotional through different scenes, and I had fun. I think it was a good wrap to the sequel trilogy. I wouldn't call it a wrap to the entire saga, but, you know, for the children of Skywalker and the children of Palpatine, I think this was a great ending. That's my review. That's my thoughts on Force healing and what Episode 9 could have changed for the prequels and originals. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Love you all. May the Force be with you, and I'll see you in the next one.